The following Dungeons & Dragons actual play podcast is based on real events from the history of American crime. Some of this imagery might be upsetting. Listener discretion is advised.
Infinite power, infinite power, infinite power, infinite power, infinite power. Infinite power.
Yeah, that'd be better.
So the envelope that you have, inside of it, there are two letters. One is a letter from the recruiting office for Backfire's Navy. Now, the thing about Backfire's Navy is that there is actually no body of water anywhere near them, and as far as they know, the city is the only thing that exists. But bureaucracy is gonna bureaucracy, right? And so just like we have plans in place in case aliens ever attack, Backfire's government has plans in place should they ever need a navy. So they have lots of boats. They've done, it's more theoretical.
Theoretical navy.
But it's still very militarized. So there's a letter from this recruitment office saying that they expect Bradley to show up in a week's time to report for duty. And there's a letter from Bradley's father telling him that if he does not go and report as he's expected to, he is out of the will.
Ooh. High stakes for Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
Make note of this in case I need it for blackmail for Bradley.
In a place like this, I can't imagine that would ever come up.
Oh,
everything ends really happily in Backfire.
I have a sudden, overwhelming desire to draw Backfire Navy propaganda posters all of a sudden.
Oh, please do.
I have no idea how that would work, but
they have all branches of the military, but like I said, the city is the only thing that exists. So they have an army that drills regularly. They have the theoretical navy working on an air force. And again, that's also largely theoretical. A lot of, those old videos of guys jumping off of cliffs with, wings attached to themselves? Or, I saw a picture of...
Ace jumpers?
I saw a picture of Da Vinci's gyrocopter. I'm going to try to make my own. And that's lots of crashes of those. And the thing is that there are people who actually can fly, but they haven't put two and two together yet. Because, again, super corrupt bureaucracy in charge.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, there's that. There's multiple police departments. There's multiple federal police departments. It's the worst possible bureaucratic nightmare that you could imagine.
Fantastic.
Yep.
All right, and also for some little housekeeping before you guys go down.
Mm-hmm.
Since it's been a couple days, I feel like Min probably went through Greenhorn's wallet that he stole.
Oh, I forgot that he stole Joey Greenhorn's wallet. Okay.
So there's a little housekeeping on that before we
yes.
go down.
So you are in possession of Joey Greenhorn's badge. Joseph Greenhorn, it says on there, badge number 0792. He has a couple of dollars in it. He has a picture of his sweetheart. He's got a library card. He's got...
You would have a library card.
There's no library.
Yeah.
The library is also theoretical.
I've put thought into the library, too. The books here are highly censored. He's got some, there's a receipt for a storage locker. There is a receipt for a safety deposit box. I'm just trying to think of, what would be something really What would be something really lame for him to have? Like, if this came out, like, everybody would make fun of him for it. He's got a note in there from his mom. Like, just a little slip of paper.
That's not too bad.
I'll have to think if there's anything else.
Maybe like one of those like honorary member of the Justice League.
Oh,
or something
yeah.
like that. Like the backfire equivalent of the
Like
Justice League.
the Mary Marching Marvel cards.
He's part of a drum and bugle corps.
He was in color guard.
Definitely has like a fan club.
Even though there's no like big body of water.
Does he have a Desmond Tate fan club card?
No, he doesn't. But he does have an honorary like membership card for whatever, like, I think that's perfect. Like, whatever the Justice League equivalent is here, he is in there, and it's like it's signed on the back by like whoever Superman is. Right, and the card is also, it's super old and it's been laminated. All right. Oh, for sure.
Self-laminated.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because the edges around it are kind of jagged, like the scissors he had weren't super sharp.
No, they were craft scissors.
Yeah.
Craft scissors.
Yep. Craft scissors. Left-handed scissors, maybe.
But he used them with his right hand.
Oh yeah.
I keep it
Really,
on.
Greenhorn has to be like our mascot at this point.
Well, we've got a
Like
few.
the unofficial mascot.
You've got Joey. You've got
Jethro.
Jethro. Yeah, Jethro hasn't been around in a minute. Jethro's got to come back somehow. He'll be back. And now Barnabas. So the three of you that went down into the basement, you see. So there's a storage area for dry goods that can stay out. There's a chest freezer for stuff that they're trying to keep cool or keep cold, like an icebox kind of. Empty boxes of stuff that just haven't been thrown away yet. And this big hole has opened up in the floor. And there's another big crash, and you see something underneath push up the floor, and like another chunk of it comes down.
I'm going to go to the whatever door there is into the basement, and I'm going to make sure that it is shut and closed and maybe locked, so nobody comes down. Well, I don't want any of the patrons to come down.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever this is that's going on. So there are still some of us upstairs, right?
Yeah. So I was just going to ask,
Okay.
before you lock the door, do you let the other people and the rest of the party?
I would probably motion to them like, come here.
Okay. So you
Clearly,
see,
like something is urgent going on.
yeah. Okay. So you see this. Mike, your character hasn't officially become part of the party yet, but you see the proprietor like waving like in a panic.
Right. I will. I know something's either really awesome or really terrible. Either way, there's stuff afoot. So I'm just gonna hang back just a little. I'm gonna use my stealth and just hang back a little bit because I don't want to cause attention. But I definitely head that direction as well.
Okay. So you avoid getting.
That's where the profit is to be made.
Yes.
Somehow.
So you avoid getting locked out
Right.
of this.
Right.
And so you do this, and Barnabas senses that something is wrong, and so he goes into host overdrive. Just 100 miles an hour. Nervous energy, but also, like, this is his time to shine. Hopefully this isn't his fault. There are lots of people out there to help and serve. And so you guys head back down. There's another crash. You see another piece of the floor lift up and then crash back down and fall into this hole. What are you going to do?
Do I have any idea of what it could be? Does it sound like anything that I've heard of before?
No, it doesn't sound like anything that you've heard before near your shop. There is like a growling sound, and so you hear like there's the crash that hits the building, and then there's something else happening underneath. Something else is crashing around down there. It's definitely nothing you've ever heard here before. Obviously, you've heard crashes and violence and stuff.
Okay. I'm going to very, very, very cautiously get a little closer to one of the holes in the floor.
Okay.
You're gritting a little bit. I don't like that.
I'm just happy to be playing D&D with my friends. It's been a long week, and I'm going to take it out on you guys. I don't understand what to be nervous about. So
is you grin while you're talking about a growly thing?
That's just in my face. I don't know.
I have a suspicious face. Good to know. But I'm going to get a little closer and kind of just be keeping an eye out, trying to see very, very carefully.
Okay. Make a perception check.
11. Well, 9 because.
Oh. Not a wise woman.
No.
Just another piece of floor disappears, and Zafira is maybe so overwhelmed with panic. Like, what's happening to her store? She can't tell what's going on here.
May I do a nature check to see if I have any knowledge of what might be able to make these kinds of holes in the ground?
Mm-hmm.
That's a natural 20, so 22.
Okay, so Alos would know that this part of Backfire is built... the entire city is built on top of itself. He knows that there are tunnels for the underneath and access to the underneath right beneath where they're at. So whatever is happening is something trying to come up from the underneath. And since you did crit it, it's something is trying to break through. Like, this is intentional. This isn't a sinkhole opening up or anything like that. Something's trying to get up here.
Does the ground seem stable enough at one of the holes that I can peer into it and kind of...
Yeah,
I have dark vision, so...
Yeah, it's all one big pit opening up in the center of the floor. Whoever is doing this is kind of working around, so it's expanding a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's not multiple holes coming up.
Oh, okay. So it's just one pit that's getting bigger with each strike.
Yep. So you look under, you look through the hole, and there's a fight happening underneath where you're at. And so the first thing that you see, and you barely dodge, as another hole or another chunk is bashed away from the floor. There's this minotaur skeleton with this big axe, and it's like bashing the ceiling with this axe. So it'll hit the ceiling, knock down a chunk, and then it turns, and it's engaged in combat, but you can't see what it's fighting. Like, you don't have an angle.
But I can see the skeleton minotaur thing.
Yep.
Alright. Hey everybody! There's an undead minotaur down there.
Beneath my shop of all shops.
Did you not pay the protection bill this month, Zafira?
The what?
Protection. You pay the mob, and then they protect, i.e. not wreck, your place. You must have not paid them, right?
Something tells me that that's never even been I can protect my own shop, thank you very much. This has never happened before. This has never happened before.
Percy just kind of looks around and goes, so what's new at the shop recently besides us?
A big hole in the ground.
No, besides that.
Those things outside that Barnabas bought. Other than that, I can't think of anything.
And they had a creepy vibe, and this has a creepy vibe.
I swear to God, the only reason I don't fire him is because he's been here for years.
Why don't we get Barnabas to bring those lights down here.
Okay. Zafira is going to go up, kind of slip out of the base. Like, just tell everyone, wait a second. She's going to slip out of the basement, go get Barnabas, and kind of take him in the back a little bit, and just be like, "Hey, can you go get those things that you put outside for a second? Even just one of them, preferably both."
He looks a little crestfallen, and he says, "Yeah, okay, I understand. You don't like the lights. Okay."
No, I just want to check something about them first. Okay, that's all. If it's not what I'm thinking, then we can put them back up, but I just need to check them.
Okay, so he goes out and grabs the lights and wrestles them in, and you hear the whispering as they're pulled through the store, and everybody's attention follows the lights, and he brings them to you.
Okay.
And for you, like, because you're in such proximity to them, like, the whispering is overwhelming. Is getting to be overwhelming.
Okay. I'm going to take them really quickly, and I'm going to get into the basement just as quick as I can. That way I'm not exposing too many people in the shop to it, and just get downstairs.
Okay.
To see what if this has anything to do with. Probably stupid to be bringing it closer to the source of whatever, but, you know. No one ever said Zafira's smart. I mean, she kind of is, but that's beside the point.
Griff, were you going to say something?
Yeah, well, when Zafira's bringing the lights down into the basement, Percy kind of sees this, and he's since it's kind of his idea, he's kind of putting two and two together about what to do about these lights.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, if only he's kind of thinking about it. He's like, if only we had somebody to, carry these things for us and drop them down. And he's thinking about it, and his since he has spells and he has no idea that he has spells. So magic just happens and he gets confused. He casts Unseen Servant.
Okay.
I forgot that I have that spell. I forgot I have that spell too. So yeah, you're
okay.
To grab the lights and throw them in the hole.
Okay. So I'm gonna let you do it, but given everything that we know about Percy and what I know about Percy,
yep.
I have to say I feel like the sudden appearance of this like spectral figure that's obeying what Percy wants him to do, Percy would automatically act hostile towards it. Right? Percy's going to think that he has just willed a clone or something into existence.
Yep.
And so Percy has this thought, and the glow man or whatever appears. And I need you to make a willpower save. We'll say like DC. I want this one to be transparent for purposes of the podcast.
Right.
We'll say a DC 14 to not automatically attack the thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Constitution.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you had money on Percy Grits, absolutely losing his shit today. You're about to make some money. We rolled a 5.
Okay, so this unseen servant appears as Percy is saying out loud, I wish somebody was here that could just throw this thing down there. And then all of a sudden this thing is there, and it takes the tethers that Barnabas has put around these wisps, like these leashes almost. It takes them and starts to jump into the pit, but before it can, Percy has a free action to it and you have to attack the thing. You have to attack the unseen servant. So just make a basic attack roll. I need to see what kind of if this thing has any hit points or not.
Yeah, I can pull it up. I have it up actually. Yeah, it has armor class 10, 1 hit point.
Okay.
Strength of 2 and it can't attack.
That's right.
Okay.
Drops to 0 hit points, the spell ends.
Okay.
Oh boy. Percy, you silly ass person. Yep, rolled a 19 on that.
Okay. So the thing takes the leash. What kind of weapon does Percy have?
Well, I was thinking it was going to be an unarmed strike, but
that's fine. He just
he sees it happening. He just starts swinging. He's supposed to just shit out of it for no reason. He just didn't have.
I feel like Zafira would recognize that, he cast the spell, and, it's just, being a magic caster herself and so into magic, can't fathom somebody casting, using magic and not knowing that they're using magic. So it's just kind of, jumps and looks at him like, dude, that was your own spell!
And he just goes, it was?
You didn't know?
No! I don't even know what day it is.
She's gonna go like that and cast her own unseen servant. Yeah, you did this. I can do it too.
While Zafira is lecturing him, the unseen servant that she cast is mimicking her hand gestures behind her. And pointing to itself and being
Okay, so first just kind of looks at both of them and tries to high five the new unseen servant.
Make an attack roll.
I'm gonna kill it.
Make an attack roll.
That's my high five. That's too funny.
Ah!
I missed.
You missed.
Roll a 5.
Okay. So you go to
That's my chocolate.
You go to high five it, but you dad it and miss. and the servant tried to high five you back, but you guys just didn't connect. 2 trains passing in the night. So the original one, Rest in Power, managed to get the wisps a little bit closer to the pit, and you can see the top of the axe lunging for them, and you see this skeletal hand it's trying to grab. There is another loud crash from down below though, and the axe goes away, and you hear whatever fight is happening down beneath continue.
Okay. Zafira is going to have her unseen servant go and pick up the 2 wisps and toss them over the edge.
So the unseen servant can't attack, right?
Mm-mm.
So it's unable to do this. It's the wisps are resisting this.
Okay. Then Zafira is going to have the unseen servant back away, and she's going to go up to them and pick them up and try to drop them over.
Okay, so I will let you make a strength check. That's the name of the show on this, and then we're gonna roll initiative.
Yeah, strength check on the podcast.
On the Red Hot Twitter machine. Whoa!
Drop all my dice. Yeah, here's what I'm gonna do. Forgot this thing goes up.
We should have that episode end when Ree just screamed when she dropped her dice, and it can be the cliffhanger, but then the next week it's oh, she just dropped her dice, nothing happened.
That's fine.
Well, I also rolled a 5, so I can do another scream if you want.
No, that's okay.
Here's my initiative. 19 for initiative, of course.
Alright, so Zafira had a 19.
Somehow with my initiative of 1.
What else? What else did people roll for initiative?
21.
Dak is 21.
7 for Alos.
And 10 for Percy.
What about Nim?
Well, that's 15.
So the Wisps. These things have a +9 on their initiative.
Quick little buggers.
So that's a 20. There. And this guy. Hi again, everybody. This is Dr. Andy Wilczak. I wanted to say thanks again for taking time to listen to the show. We really appreciate it. The reason why I wanted to make Strength Check into an actual play D&D podcast, when there are so many other actual play shows out there that are probably way better than anything that I could do, is I want to draw your attention to a project that I'm a part of here in northeastern Pennsylvania. We're calling it Play for Progress, and the idea is to use D&D and eventually, hopefully, probably other tabletop games to help middle school and high school kids who are struggling with mental health problems or addiction issues, or who feel alienated or isolated in some way. This part of Pennsylvania has been hit really, really hard by the opioid crisis. This part of Pennsylvania has a very high alcoholism rate. And this part of Pennsylvania is diversifying very quickly, and there are those who have capitalized on that to try to create more conflict between people. So we have a lot of kids here who are alone and who are suffering, and suffering mightily. So what we're doing, and the point of this message now, is to just let you know that we are raising money to make Play for Progress a sustainable force for good in the northeastern Pennsylvania area. If you have even $5 to spare for us, you can go to gofundme.com/playforprogress with hyphens between the words, so play-for-progress. And anything that you can give us will go a long way towards making us sustainable. Thank you.